Hi, just a little review and a demonstration of the LANSKY Deluxe sharpening system here. Also the LANSKY leather stropping hone. The LANSKY system is incredibly well known. It's been around for years and it's very well regarded. Having seen things on the internet, I was this close to spending £200 plus on the Wicked Edge system. However, I thought, well, let's give the LANSKY system a go first, because previous to this I'd only used the croc sticks, which are sort of similar to the Spyderco Sharp Maker. So first of all, let's have a look at see what's in the box. Most of you will be familiar with this. Let's take this out. So it comes in a little carrying case with a card sleeve. In the case you've got catalogue, instructions, which are incredibly simple, and I'll sort of walk you through my understanding of those. Guide rods. Got a comment on those in a minute, but I'll show you what I mean. And 5 different stones. You've got the extra coarse, the coarse, got the medium stone, and notice the glue along here. That's a bit of Gorilla Glue, because when I got it, the stone was at about a 45-degree angle. It had just been misplaced in the factory, and obviously the quality control hadn't picked that up. So I've sent an email to LANSKY, and hopefully they'll give me a helpful response. You've got a fine stone, a bit of kitchen roll on that from where I've cleaned it. And you've got the ultra fine, which is a very, very completely smooth ceramic stone here. On the top of those, which came with the kit, I've got the leather hone, which, as one would imagine, is simply a piece of leather. Now, I've seen people on the internet talk about putting a sort of compound on this with a very fine grit. In the instructions to this, it actually says that would damage the leather, and it just recommends Jeweler's Rouge, but so far I've just used it on its own and it's worked absolutely fine. To the side, and then of course you've got the clamp. Just pop that in. Now this is a little bit of an update to other ones I've seen. It's got rubber pads in there, and this one used to be a screw style design, I believe. Now the rubber pads actually are a little bit sloppy. I think probably what I'll do is take them out and then just revert back to putting a bit of tape on the blade so it doesn't get scratched. But I'll leave that out for the time being. You've got the honing oil, which I don't know whether it's popular belief, but certainly my understanding was this, it was designed to lubricate the stones. That's absolutely not the case. What you do is when the stones start to block up with metal sort of residue and start getting slick and gliding on the blade, you pop a little bit of this honing oil on, and that allows the metal to be sort of, it acts as a bit of a solvent and allows the metal to be rubbed away. And then you've got a spare screw for your stones, and well, I think that might be a replacement for that one there. Not sure. Right, so the first knife I've used this on was a very badly damaged, very cheap NLAN EL1, and whilst you can probably, well, you might be able to spot there's still some nicks on the edge there. I didn't go over it enough with the coarse stone, but it has actually got a very, very sharp, almost mirror polished edge, and that was a very quick initial try on it. So very happy with the early results. It seems a very easy system to use. What I'm going to do is show you a little bit of a trial on this UK PK by Spyderco. If you can pick up the edge, you'll still see the nice toothy sort of grind, but if you look very hard, the very tip of the very apex of it is actually smooth because it's cut through lots and lots of cardboard, and it is now pretty much certainly not as sharp as I'd like it to be. So we'll see if we can improve on that. So first things first, I'll set it up in the clamp. So what the instructions say is to grab it at midpoint and tight on that basis that you'll then sort of equal in your sort of approach to it. Now obviously for this one, my view is that I'm always going to get the blades to the back of the rubber as a sort of standard marking point. I'm going to clamp it in the middle of the blade, but what I want to do is get that apex, that sort of arc, to be about equal across it. Otherwise you'll end up with some areas attracting a sort of thicker grind or bevel than others. I think that's nearly there. Certainly good enough for a little try. Now, so the rubber pads are starting to slip and slop a bit. I've pinched it up with that one, and then what you do is you crank down that one, which then tips it and adds quite a lot of tension to it. So that's pretty tight. That's not going to go anywhere easily. Now the next thing to do, I rest that there for a moment, is to mark on the bevel with a pen so you can see when you're attacking it from the right angle. Little trick is to simply draw down almost the middle, and that marks up each side pretty much evenly. There you go. So I'll give it a little going over with the coarse stone, and the trick is to pull out one of these rods, and I concur with other people's comments that the way they're attached in the box actually invites bending. So what I'm trying to do is, on the basis that I probably won't be able to straighten them out perfectly, is to use the same rod for all the stones, so at least they're equally bad, if you will. You lay it down on the table like that, make sure it's all straight, and then just pinch it up on there. That's pretty much there. Now you can get a nice stand for this, but it works perfectly fine by hand. Now I'm going to go for a 25-degree bevel there. I believe that to be the case, but I'll just check. And what you do, you just need to hook your finger over there so that the rod is always at the base of that, and then just give it a little right. Let's try a new angle. That doesn't seem to catch it. That's a lot better. So the 20 is pretty much there. It's taking off some of the ink. With time you'll get it all matched up. So we're going to work on a 20-degree bevel here and just work it along like this. So rather than make you watch all that, I'm just going to pause the video here and I'll bring you back. So I've just finished with the extra coarse stone, and if you can see there, I've basically worked all the way along, taking off the majority of the marked ink to try and be equal with my approach. And there's just a little tiny tip on the end there where the ink hasn't been removed. A little bit cautious of working too hard on that to reprofile it, as I'm just starting out, but that's probably something I'll return to do. So same process again with the course, and trying to be relatively equal in the amount of effort on either side. So I'll work through a couple of times, back and forth. Now a video I watched was suggesting that you actually just time this. Once you get into a rhythm, you know how much effort you've put on each side, and that seems quite a good idea. Okay, on to the next stone. So simply on with the next stone. So this is the medium. If anyone's seeing anything that I can improve here, I'm sure there's many things, let me know. Now on with the fine stone. You can hear it's a lot less bite in this one, getting towards polishing. I'm just working back and forth like this 5 times, trying to be equal. The point of being equal is therefore that the apex of the blade stays in the same place, making life easier going forwards. So just before we move on to the ultrafine hone, even with a very quick going over with the fine, you can start seeing the build-up of metal in it. Also you can see the fact that this bit of the hone isn't being touched at all, which is part of a limitation which I think exists in the LANSKY sharpener, whereby you can't get a full sweep on an average size blade. But nonetheless, it's a good opportunity just to show you how the honing oil works and how quickly that will clean out the metal in there. So it's really just a couple of drops, and then just a lint-free cloth, and quickly lift that residue out. And it's clean for next time. So not to lubricate, just to clean. Okay, so we'll crack on with the ultrafine. The edge is starting to look quite nice. Not as easy to work as the Chinese steel in the other knife. This is CTS BD1. Not had a lot of experience sharpening this, but it does seem a little bit more hard work to get to a mirror edge. But let's just see how it goes. Okay, I'll stop the video there. So finally we're on to the leather hone. Now you can see there's a few scuffs and nicks on it. As I say, there's no jeweler's rouge or any sort of lubrication on it, and really what you've got to do is just make sure very carefully that you're only ever stropping in one direction, because as soon as you go against the blade you cut the strop and reduce its lifespan quite considerably. Okay, so I've just finished off with the strop, and we'll take the knife out of the clamp and see what we've got. So first of all, we'll loosen off here. The clamp's wiggled around a little bit overuse, but that'll come with practice. Give the blade a little wipe, get off any dust and dirt. Right, so let's have a look and see where we've got. Maybe not a perfect mirror edge, but certainly pretty shiny and sharp. Now on the tip there you can still see a bit of the ink on the edge, so that definitely needs some working, a bit of reprofiling to make sure that it's struck every time. Along the edge of the blade, along the top edge of the bevel there, you can see some areas which haven't been polished as highly, so again probably some reprofiling, but not bad for a second attempt. Let's just see how it cuts. That's pretty sharp, certainly as sharp as it was coming out of the factory. So I'm pretty happy with the results on that. It's made me reconsider whether I need a £200 wick edge sharpener. I think with a bit of practice you can probably get there or thereabouts with a set of sharpeners from LANSKY, which come in probably if you shop round. This all cost me around about £40 delivered. So as I say, knivesandtools.co.uk for that, and the Stropping hone I actually got off eBay. That was the best price I could find for it. So yeah, there's certainly a lot of potential with this kit, and I'm very pleased. Okay, hope that's helpful. Lovely. Cheers.